structured parking that you won't be able to see. It's a real great idea.
So to orient you on the images, in this axon view where this is Madisonville down here in Red Bank over there, this kind of whole area in here would be this structured parking that butts up against the slope. And in the plan, this is, you see it right here where we're talking where this is one of the Medpace buildings, and behind it is one layer of parking underneath and another layer on top that is accessed on the grade from the south side for that part. Do you want to take them through the different areas of the...
Yeah. One of the things too I want to mention about the parking is that we decided to go just with kind of the one level running, or basically two levels of parking because it's kind of, you know, the next kind of lowest. I mean, obviously, paved surface parking is your cheapest option. And kind of the next lowest is just like the one level, just because you don't have to worry about the high loads. And also, one thing that you gain from backing a building up against the parking is that if you look at this diagram, your people that park on top can access this level, whereas people that park on the bottom can access the second. So essentially, you've doubled your entry-level access to your building. In terms of people liking that, I mean, people don't like to have to use stairs all the time. So it does aid that. And then also, so this is the existing. We kind of separated the site into zones just so you could get an idea of how they all mix together. This is what we perceive as the Medpace campus. It's got the two levels of parking and essentially three buildings and then some speculative office on the east
somewhere it isn't.
Yeah, on the speculative office would be right there on the east side. And the idea with that is that you build this building first with either all or portion structured parking, and then this one next, and then this one. Meanwhile, the city is upgrading the Red Bank Expressway, and so as they do that, we're looking at a tight diamond intersection. I know we've only got kind of one portion of it drawn here, but the idea is that as that road gets upgraded, and higher volume traffic goes through, they're going to see that as developers are going to see that as a greater opportunity, especially with a new amount of people coming in. There's a lot of income to be spent. So the development of kind of this swap becomes more profitable from a development standpoint, and then so that brings us to kind of the highway retail area where we've cited these two large purple buildings are.
Let's see down here.
Yeah,
this down here and right here. What we're calling the highway retail portion.
They're cited on the site, so they command the best points of visibility in terms of this is your highest point on the site, so most people can see it. And this is also a good area just because it's right past the plastic surgery center, so it's the first thing you're able to see as you're going by.
And then mixing the two. So then in between mixing the two, which once again goes back to this diagram where we're trying to do a graining of mixing the highway retail. There's going to be a more traditional streetscape of retail connecting the two, where this Medpace building, which has Medpace uses focusing on the quad in the middle, has retail on the ground floor on this side. And there's an actual sort of retail plaza that's happening on this corner here. And there's actually a walkway through this corner here that connects these two spaces that you see, which will help move people from Medpace out to the retail street, people from the retail into this sort of park-like space in there. And then our next two zones are in this area. There's sort of an office mixed use. So you're transitioning from the strict use of office of Medpace into office and residential, so that's kind of a high density residential. Then you're moving over here into a medium density residential, and then finally into the existing low density residential. So we're trying to step up from the single family uses to townhouses to maybe more apartments, an apartment office mix to an office retail, and then straight to retail. So you get this kind of slow gradation across the site. So there's not kind of two uses abruptly jutting up against each other. And like we said, connecting all of these things together are things like pathways. There's this sort of one pathway that connects the residential all the way through. All right.
Where's the allergies?
This building here. I guess real quick to take you through the two perspectives. The view of the main entry is looking straight actually down the entry, and you see Medpace at the end of the site. And this perspective is you're on the highway and you're looking at he's calling it an Applebee's, but that type of use where it's a larger building with a big sign that you see from the highway, and this building here, and it's got parking right in front, so you can pull right up to it. And same thing with this building, it's got a big sign right at the end where you can see it, and it has a clearly different type of way it's, represented, because you're seeing it from the highway than some of these more interior retail streets.